The wind had already been moving across the fields long before night arrived. Not loudly, not urgently, just enough to remind the farmhouse that winter had settled in for the season. Snow rested against the wooden walls, packed gently by weeks of quiet storms. The world beyond the small windows had faded into a soft, endless white. No roads were visible now. No fence lines. Just darkness, snow, and the distant shapes of bare trees standing patiently under the cold sky. Inside the farmhouse, the fire still burned. It was not a large fire. Just steady enough to warm the single room where the evening would slowly pass. The logs cracked softly, sending small sparks upward, light dancing across rough wooden beams darkened by decades of smoke. This was a winter night in the 1700s. And nothing needed to happen. No messages were expected. No visitors would arrive. No urgency waited beyond the door. Only the long, gentle passing of time. Take a slow breath, and allow the night to begin. The farmhouse had been built with care rather than speed. Thick timber beams formed its bones, each one cut and placed by hand many winters ago. The floorboards creaked faintly as they warmed near the hearth, the sound familiar, almost comforting. A wooden table stood near the fire, worn smooth by years of use. Candle wax had hardened along its edges in uneven layers, marking countless evenings just like this one. Above it hung iron tools, simple, practical, unchanged for generations. The air smelled of burning wood, wool, and faint traces of dried herbs stored for winter meals. It was the scent of survival, of routine, of a life shaped by seasons rather than clocks. Outside, the wind shifted direction. Snow brushed against the window like a slow-moving tide. Somewhere in the distance, a tree limb creaked under its frozen weight, then grew still again. Nothing followed. The farmhouse remained quiet. The fire settled lower, and a log shifted inward, releasing a soft sigh of embers. Shadows moved across the walls, stretching and shrinking with each flicker of flame. A kettle rested near the hearth, its contents still warm. No whistle, no rush, just the faintest suggestion of heat rising into the air. Time here was measured by light and warmth, not minutes. In the corner of the room, a simple chair waited, its woven seat slightly curved from years of use. Nearby, folded blankets rested on a bench, thick and heavy, made to last through long nights like this one. Winter nights in the 1700s were not filled with distraction. They were filled with endurance. People listened more, waited more, rested when the world allowed it. Tonight was one of those nights. Beyond the walls, the land lay silent beneath its frozen cover. Fields that once held crops now slept beneath snow, preserving the promise of spring far in the future. Paths once walked daily had disappeared entirely, erased by the steady patience of winter. The farmhouse stood alone, but it did not feel lonely. It felt held, by the earth beneath it, by the trees around it, by the simple certainty that morning would come when it was ready. The wind rose briefly, pressing against the shutters. They rattled once, then settled. The sound was familiar, expected, nothing to fear. Inside, the fire continued its quiet work. Now the night deepens. This is where the story slows even further. From here onward, the narration is meant to drift, repeat gently, and linger. The fire breathes in. The fire breathes out. Each ember glows, then fades. Glows, then fades. The room warms, then cools, then warms again. The farmhouse has known thousands of nights like this one. It remembers them all. Snow continues to fall outside, though no sound reaches the room. The world, beyond the windows has narrowed to darkness and cold, while inside remains a small circle of light and calm. The kettle cools. The fire settles. The wind moves on. Nothing interrupts the night. Dash dash dash. The fire glows softly. The wooden beams hold steady. The snow continues to fall. Time stretches. Moments blend into one another. There is no reason to stay alert. No reason to listen closely. The farmhouse stands watch for you. Dash dash dash. The wind brushes the roof again, lighter this time. The shutters do not move. The walls remain warm. The night passes without incident. Breath slows. Thoughts drift. The fire remains. Dash dash dash. Snow rests on the land. The land rests beneath the sky. The sky remains wide and dark. All is well. The night goes on. Not much changes, and that is the point. The quiet becomes familiar, like a blanket pulled gently over your shoulders. The fire burns low now, but it still holds warmth in the room. The logs are smaller, their edges blackened and soft. You can hear the occasional pop as a small piece of wood gives way and releases its last breath of heat. The room remains steady. The shadows move, but only slightly. They glide across the walls as if the house itself is breathing. Every beam, every plank, every nail, each one has been here for so long it has learned to accept the stillness. Outside, the snow continues its slow fall. The world remains covered in white, quiet and patient. There are no footsteps, no distant voices, no sound of animals moving through the drifts. Only the hush of winter. The farmhouse is a small island of warmth in the middle of a frozen sea. Dash dash dash. The kettle has cooled now, its metal skin dull and still. If you listen closely, you can hear the faint ticking of the wood as it settles into the cold. Wood expands and contracts with temperature. It is a gentle sound, almost like a heartbeat. The chair in the corner holds its shape. The blankets remain folded, waiting. The table holds its wax marks and small scratches. Everything in this room is simple, unchanged, reliable. This is a life without hurry. A life where time moves at the pace of seasons. And tonight, the season is winter. Dash dash dash. The farmhouse has its own rhythm. It is not loud. It is not dramatic. It is steady. The fire, the wind, the snow, the rhythm continues. Dash dash dash. There is a small window near the table, covered by a simple curtain. The curtain is thick and heavy, woven from wool. It is meant to keep the cold out, and it does. It also blocks most of the world from view. But if you look closely, through the curtain's weave, you can see a faint glow. Not from the moon, not from the stars, from the snow itself. Snow reflects any light that exists, even the smallest. It makes the night feel less dark than it should. It makes the world seem soft, like a sleeping creature under a thick blanket. The light is gentle. It does not disturb. It does not demand attention. It simply is. Dash dash dash. The wind rises again, just slightly. It presses against the roof, then slides away. It makes the old wood sigh, and the farmhouse answers with a small creak. The sound is comforting, like a familiar voice. It reminds you that the house is alive, in its own way. Everything here is alive, if you think about it. The fire is alive. The wood is alive. The air is alive. Even the snow is alive in its quiet way, shifting and falling and reshaping the world. And you are alive too, right here, right now. You are safe. Dash dash dash. The fire continues to glow, slow and steady. The shadows remain, but they soften as the flames lessen. The room grows quieter. The hush of winter deepens. Your breath slows. Your mind begins to let go of the day. You are not thinking about tasks. You are not thinking about noise. You are simply listening. The night is listening too. Dash dash dash. A small moment passes. Then another. The world outside remains frozen and still. The world inside remains warm and calm. The night continues. The fire grows quieter. The crackling has almost stopped. Only a few embers remain, glowing like tiny coals of fading daylight. The room is still warm, but the heat has softened. It is no longer sharp or intense. It is the kind of warmth that feels like a memory, pleasant, gentle, and calm. The shadows are thinner now. They cling to the corners, slowly disappearing into the soft darkness. The farmhouse is settling deeper into sleep. Outside, the snow keeps falling. The wind has softened. The night feels longer now, not because it is endless, but because it is slow. Every second stretches, unhurried, like a long breath held without strain. In the distance, a tree limb shifts and settles. A tiny sound. A small movement. Then stillness again. The world is patient. You can feel the thickness of the blankets even if you are only imagining them. The wool is heavy, layered, and warm. It presses gently against the skin, providing comfort and weight. This weight is not oppressive. It is reassuring. It reminds you that you are held. That you are protected. That you can let go. The smell of the room remains the same. Burning wood, old wool, and the faint scent of dried herbs stored for winter. It is not a sharp scent. It is subtle, like the memory of a familiar place. Your mind can rest here. It does not need to travel anywhere else. The night is a safe place. The farmhouse is quiet, but not empty. There is life in the room, in the walls, in the wood. The house has lived through many winters, and it has learned to remain calm. This is what winter teaches. How to endure. How to be still. How to wait. A small sound rises from the corner of the room. A gentle creak, like a slow breath. The wood is cooling. The beams are adjusting. It is a natural sound. It is a sound of something settling. The farmhouse is settling. And so are you. The night continues. The fire continues to fade. The snow continues to fall. The wind continues to move gently across the land. Nothing is rushing. Nothing is demanding. Everything is simply existing. Now, the night begins to change. Not suddenly. Not dramatically. Just slowly. The darkness becomes less dense. The world begins to soften. The sky is still dark, but it is no longer entirely empty. A faint hint of pale light appears on the horizon. It is not sunrise yet. It is only the promise of it. A whisper of dawn. The snow begins to reflect the light. The world outside becomes faintly visible. Not clear, not bright, but visible. The trees are still silhouettes. The field is still a vast white sheet. But now, there is depth. There is shape. There is quiet beauty. The farmhouse remains warm. The fire is now only a small glow, like a tiny heart beating softly. The room is calm. The night is almost finished. But you are not rushed. You are allowed to stay here as long as you need. The light on the horizon grows slowly. It does not demand attention. It does not force you to wake. It simply arrives. A gentle reminder that time moves forward. That the night will end. And that the morning will come. The wind outside grows softer. The snow becomes quieter. The world is preparing for a new day, but in the calmest way possible. The farmhouse holds its warmth. The blankets hold their weight. The room holds its peace. A slow breath in. A slow breath out. The night is ending, but you are still resting. The farmhouse has done its job. It has kept the cold out. It has kept the warmth in. It has kept the world quiet. When you are ready, you can drift deeper into sleep. The day will arrive without needing your attention. For now, the night is still here. And it is peaceful. The pale light continues to grow. It spreads softly across the snow outside, turning the world into a quiet, shimmering landscape. The darkness retreats slowly, as if it is being folded away, leaving behind a clean, calm morning. The farmhouse remains warm. The air inside feels softer now, less heavy. The room is no longer lit by fire, but by the gentle, natural light of early day. The shadows have faded. The corners of the room are no longer dark. The world is becoming visible again. The fire has gone out completely now. Only a few small pieces of ash remain, pale and still. The hearth looks calm, almost empty, as if it is resting after its long work. The wood is no longer burning. The room is no longer filled with heat. But it is still warm. The warmth remains in the walls. It remains in the air. It remains in the memory of the house. The farmhouse has kept its promise. Outside, the snow continues to rest, untouched and silent. The field remains blank, like a page waiting to be written on. In the distance, a bird begins to sing, very softly. Not loudly, not urgently, just a gentle note, as if the world is waking slowly. The sound travels through the cold air and reaches the farmhouse, where it is heard as a small, peaceful reminder that life continues. The day has begun. A soft breeze moves across the land, and the snow shifts slightly. It is not a storm. It is not a rush. It is simply the world adjusting. The farmhouse remains still. The windows remain clear. The room remains calm. You are still safe. You are still resting. The smell of the room has changed slightly. The fire is gone, so the smoke is gone too. The air is clearer. The scent of wood remains, but it is softer now. The room feels clean. The world feels new. This is the feeling of morning. The blankets remain folded. The chair remains in its corner. The table remains worn and familiar. Nothing has changed quickly. Nothing has changed dramatically. Everything has simply moved forward. The night has ended gently. The world outside is brighter now. The pale light continues to spread across the fields. The sky is still calm. The air is still cold. But the day has arrived. The farmhouse stands quietly in the winter morning, a small, steady presence in the wide, white world. And you are still resting. This is where the story closes, but the calm continues. If you need the final closing lines for the video, like a soft sign-off, here is a gentle ending you can use. The winter night has passed. The farmhouse is still here. The world is still calm. And you are safe. Let the morning arrive without rushing. Let the day begin quietly. And sleep, if you are ready. The night is quiet. The frontier has a way of feeling vast, even when you are sitting beside a small campfire. The land stretches out into darkness in every direction, a wide, open space that holds its breath. The fire is small but steady. It crackles softly, sending a few sparks upward like tiny stars escaping into the night. The light flickers across the faces of the trees and the rocks nearby, casting shadows that move slowly, almost lazily, as if they too are resting. The air is cold, but not harsh. It is the kind of cold that feels clean and clear, like a breath taken deep and held for a moment. It makes the world feel sharper, more defined. It makes every sound stand out, even the quiet ones. The frontier is a place where the silence is almost loud. The campfire is the center of everything here. It is a circle of warmth and light in a world that otherwise has none. The people around it are quiet, not because they have nothing to say, but because the night encourages stillness. A pot hangs over the fire, the steam rising in thin, gentle trails. The smell of hot broth mixes with the scent of burning wood. It is a simple smell, but it is comforting. It is the smell of survival. The ground beneath the camp is rough and uneven, covered in dried grass and small stones. A few logs have been arranged as seats, worn smooth by use. Blankets are folded near the fire, thick and heavy, made to keep the cold away. Everything here is practical. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is unnecessary. Beyond the firelight, the frontier stretches into darkness. Trees stand like quiet guards, their branches reaching up into the night. The stars above are bright, more bright than they would be near a town, because there are no lights to compete with them. The sky is clear, and the stars seem to hang close enough to touch. They do not feel distant. They feel present. The night air is still, and the only sounds are those that belong to the wilderness. A distant owl calls once, then falls silent. A small animal moves through the brush, its footsteps soft and careful. The world is alive, but it is not loud. It is a quiet kind of life. The people around the fire are tired. Not just tired from travel, but tired in a deeper way. Tired of constant movement. Tired of uncertainty. Tired of being on the edge of something unknown. This campfire is their last for the night. Their last moment of warmth before sleep. Their last light before the darkness returns. They do not rush it. They do not hurry to put the fire out. They let it burn down slowly, as if they are allowing the night to settle. There is comfort in the slow end of a fire. The flames become smaller. The crackling grows less frequent. The sparks rise less often. The fire is not dying quickly. It is simply calming, moving from bright energy to quiet warmth. The logs glow softly, their edges glowing like embers. The light becomes gentler. The shadows become softer. The campfire is turning into a memory of itself. Outside the circle of light, the darkness remains. It does not move closer. It simply stays where it is, patient and still. The frontier is not dangerous because it is dark. It is dangerous because it is vast. But in this moment, the vastness feels peaceful. The darkness feels like a blanket, covering the land and allowing it to rest. The people near the fire feel the same calm. They begin to relax into the night. A slow breath in. A slow breath out. The fire continues to glow. The night continues to pass. The frontier remains quiet. The fire is now mostly embers. The heat is softer, but it still holds. It still warms the hands when they move close. The pot over the fire has been removed. The meal has been eaten. The food has done its work, and now the body is ready for rest. The blankets are pulled closer. The logs are shifted slightly to make more comfortable seats. The world becomes stiller. The night feels deeper. The stars above continue to shine. The sky remains clear. The air remains cold. The frontier has its own rhythm. It does not rush. It does not hurry. It simply exists. The fire is almost gone now. A few embers remain, glowing like tiny coals of a long ago day. The warmth is fading, but not completely gone. The people around the fire are quiet, but not tense. They are simply calm. They are simply present. They are waiting for sleep. The wind shifts slightly. It moves through the trees, making them whisper softly. The sound is gentle, like a soft sigh. The wilderness is speaking, but it is speaking quietly. The campfire responds by glowing a little brighter for a moment, as if it is acknowledging the wind. Then it returns to its steady, slow fade. The night continues. The cold begins to feel less sharp. Not because the temperature changes, but because the body adjusts. The mind grows quiet. The frontier is a place where you learn to be still. Where you learn to accept what you cannot change. And in that acceptance, you find peace. The fire's glow continues to fade. The embers become smaller and smaller. The circle of light shrinks. The darkness grows, but not in a frightening way. It grows like a soft curtain being pulled gently closed. The frontier is patient. It does not hurry. The night deepens. The world becomes quieter. The fire becomes a faint memory. The mind begins to drift. Now the story becomes slower still. The words become fewer, the pauses longer. The night is long, and the mind needs time to settle. The fire glows softly. The embers shine. The night holds its breath. The frontier remains still. The stars shine. The wind whispers. The campfire fades. The fire glows softly. The embers shine. The night holds its breath. The frontier remains still. The stars shine. The wind whispers. The campfire fades. The fire glows softly. The embers shine. The night holds its breath. The frontier remains still. The stars shine. The wind whispers. The campfire fades. If you want the story to continue in part 2 asterisk, I can keep the same calm rhythm and deepen the atmosphere further, adding slow shifts in the night, gentle sounds, and the first signs of dawn. The fire is almost gone now. The glow is faint, like a small heart beating softly in the dark. The warmth is still there, but it is no longer bright. It has become quiet, gentle, almost like a memory of heat. The people around the fire sit still. They do not speak. They do not move much. The silence is not empty. It is full of the sound of the wind, full of the sound of the night, full of the sound of their own breathing. The frontier feels alive in a quiet way. The sky above is filled with stars. They seem closer than they would near a town, because there is no light to compete with them. They are bright, and they are many. The stars look like scattered coins on a dark cloth. They do not move quickly. They do not rush. They simply exist. The night is a vast space. The stars are the only points of light that remain steady. A soft breeze moves through the camp. It brushes against the blankets. It shifts the edge of the firelight. The wind is cold, but not sharp. It is the kind of cold that makes the body feel alive. It reminds the mind that it is still here, still breathing, still resting. The campfire responds with a small flicker. The embers glow a little brighter for a moment. Then settle again. The night continues. The people at the campfire begin to feel the heaviness of sleep. Their eyelids grow heavy. Their bodies relax. The warmth of the embers and the weight of the blankets begin to pull them toward rest. This is the kind of tired that is deep, not hurried. The kind that comes from traveling far and living simply. The frontier teaches that kind of tired. The fire continues to fade. The embers become smaller. The light becomes softer. The circle of warmth shrinks. But the feeling of safety remains. The campfire has done its job. It has offered warmth. It has offered light. It has offered a place to gather. And now, it is ready to be finished. The night is deeper now. The darkness feels thicker, but not frightening. It feels calm. The wilderness is still. The stars are bright. The wind moves slowly. The world is resting. The frontier is resting. The people are resting. A distant sound appears. It is soft. Almost too soft to notice. A small animal moving through the brush. A faint rustle of leaves. A tiny sound in the vast night. The sound does not disturb. It does not startle. It simply exists. It reminds you that the world is alive, even in the quiet. The fire is now only a few glowing embers. The heat is gentle. The light is dim. The people at the campfire are calm. Their breathing is slow. Their bodies are still. They are almost asleep. The wind moves again. It shifts through the trees. It makes the branches whisper. The whisper is gentle, like a lullaby. The night is a lullaby. The frontier is singing softly. The embers continue to glow. They glow softly. They glow quietly. The fire is no longer a flame. It is a slow, warm light, almost hidden in the darkness. The night grows longer. The mind grows quieter. A long pause. A slow breath. The world remains still. The embers fade further. The light becomes almost invisible. The night becomes darker. The sky remains bright with stars. The wind continues its soft movement. The campfire is ending. Now, the story shifts into the slowest, calmest part. The narration becomes minimal, with long pauses. The goal is to guide the listener into sleep. The fire glows softly. The embers shine. The night holds its breath. The frontier remains still. The stars shine. The wind whispers. The campfire fades. The fire glows softly. The embers shine. The night holds its breath. The frontier remains still. The stars shine. The wind whispers. The campfire fades. The fire glows softly. The embers shine. The night holds its breath. The frontier remains still. The stars shine. The wind whispers. The campfire fades. The embers glow softly, then fade. The light becomes quieter. The night becomes deeper. The frontier remains still. The stars continue to shine. The wind continues to whisper. Everything moves slowly. Everything moves gently. The people around the campfire are now almost completely still. Their breathing is slow and calm. Their eyes are heavy. The blankets hold them like a warm, gentle weight. The night is long, and the mind is becoming quiet. The body begins to relax deeper. The fire becomes smaller and smaller. The light becomes faint. The warmth becomes softer. The night continues. Outside the circle of warmth, the land remains dark. The trees stand quietly in the distance. The field stretches out, covered in shadow. The stars above are bright and steady. There is no sound except the wind and the faint rustle of distant leaves. The world is calm. The wind shifts again. It moves through the camp, making a small, gentle sound. It touches the blankets. It touches the fire. The embers glow a little brighter for a moment, then settle back. The night continues. The cold is still there, but it feels less sharp now. The body adjusts. The mind grows quiet. The frontier is a place where you learn to accept the cold. You learn to accept the silence. You learn to accept the slow passing of time. And in that acceptance, you find peace. The embers continue to fade. The light continues to soften. The circle of warmth continues to shrink. The night continues. The sky remains clear. The stars remain bright. But something changes slowly. A faint glow appears on the horizon. It is not sunrise yet. It is only the first hint of morning. A quiet promise. A gentle reminder that the night will end. The glow grows slowly, almost imperceptibly. The darkness begins to soften. The land becomes slightly more visible. The trees become less like shadows and more like shapes. The field becomes less like a void and more like a place. The world begins to wake, but it does so without rushing. The fire is now only a few glowing coals. The warmth is gentle. The light is almost gone. But the world outside is changing. The night is ending. The stars begin to fade, one by one. Not quickly, not suddenly, slowly. The sky becomes lighter. The horizon becomes brighter. The first signs of dawn arrive. The wind grows softer. The cold remains, but it feels different now. It feels like a fresh morning rather than a harsh night. The land is quiet, but it is quiet in a different way. It is quiet because the world is waking. It is quiet because the night is ending. The people around the campfire remain still. Their breathing is calm. Their bodies are relaxed. They are not fully awake yet. They are still in the calm between night and morning. The frontier is still. The day is arriving. The embers fade completely. The fire is gone. The campfire has ended. The night has ended. The frontier remains. The morning begins. Dash dash dash. The sky is now pale. The stars are almost gone. The light spreads across the land like a soft blanket. The field is visible. The trees are visible. The world looks peaceful. The frontier looks peaceful. The day has arrived. Dash dash dash. The wind is gentle. The air is crisp. The world is calm. Everything is still. Everything is quiet. Everything is safe. Dash dash dash. The night has passed. The last campfire has gone out. But the warmth remains in the memory of the night. The frontier remains. The world remains. And you are still resting. The morning light continues to spread. It moves slowly across the land, touching everything with pale gold and soft blue. The shadows of the night retreat, folding away quietly, as if the world is slowly being returned to itself. The trees become clearer. The field becomes visible. The ground beneath the snow is still hidden, but the shape of the land can now be seen. The frontier is no longer a vast, dark unknown. It is a quiet, peaceful place. Dash dash dash. The air feels fresh. It smells like cold earth and snow. It smells like the beginning of a new day. The world is calm. The day is calm. There is no hurry here. The frontier does not rush. It simply moves forward, slowly and steadily, one moment at a time. Dash dash dash. The camp is quiet. The fire is gone, but the memory of it remains. The warmth is no longer present, but the comfort of it remains. The blankets are still folded. The logs are still arranged. The pot is empty. Everything is still, as if waiting for the next night. But for now, the morning is here. Dash dash dash. A bird calls again, softly. Not loud, not urgent, just a gentle sound, as if to say, the world is awake. The sound travels through the cold air and reaches the camp. It feels peaceful. It feels reassuring. It feels like the world is moving gently forward. Dash dash dash. The sky becomes brighter. The pale light grows stronger. The day becomes more visible. The horizon looks distant and calm. The frontier stretches out, wide and quiet, as if it is holding its breath. But it is not holding its breath out of fear. It is holding its breath out of peace. Dash dash dash. The wind moves slowly through the trees. It carries the scent of snow and cold air. It carries the feeling of a fresh beginning. The world is quiet. The frontier is quiet. The day is quiet. Dash dash dash. The mind becomes quieter too. The body feels heavy. The breathing slows. The thoughts begin to fade. You are drifting deeper. You are becoming more relaxed. The day will arrive without needing your attention. The morning will continue without needing your presence. For now, you can rest. Dash dash dash. The frontier remains. The camp remains. The morning remains. The world remains. And you remain safe. Dash dash dash. If you are still awake, allow the calm to continue. If you are already asleep, let the night carry you gently. The last campfire has gone out. But the quiet warmth remains. Good night. The drum is one of the oldest instruments in the world. Its sound is simple, and yet it is powerful. A beat can travel through the air, through the ground, through the bones. It can be heard from far away, even in the quiet of night. Tonight, we will follow the history of the drum. Not as a lesson, but as a journey that begins long before written records. A journey that crosses oceans, deserts, forests, and cities. The drum has always been a part of human life. Dash dash dash. In the earliest times, people discovered that sound could be made by striking objects. A hollow log, a stretched animal skin, a piece of wood, a rock. They discovered that the sound could be made louder by making the object hollow. A hollow log becomes a resonator. A hollow shell becomes a drum. And the first drums were born. The drum was not only an instrument. It was a way to communicate. A way to gather. A way to mark time. Dash dash dash. In ancient times, Drums were often used in rituals, in ceremonies, in gatherings that required rhythm and unity. The sound of the drum could be felt as much as heard. It could reach deep into the body, making the heart feel like it was beating in time. In some cultures, the drum was believed to connect the living with the spirit world. It was a tool of the sacred, a tool of the ancient. As civilizations grew, so did the drum. Different cultures shaped it in different ways. The drum became a symbol of identity. In Africa, drums were made from hollowed logs and animal skins. They were often decorated, carved, and painted. They were used for communication across distances, for celebrations, and for storytelling. In Asia, drums took on many forms. Some were large and deep. Some were small and sharp. Some were used in temples, and some were used in the courts of kings. In Europe, drums were used in war and in ceremony. They became part of military life. They became a way to coordinate soldiers, to keep rhythm in marches, to signal commands. The drum traveled with people. It traveled with traders, travelers, and soldiers. It traveled with migrations and with trade routes. The sound of the drum traveled too. It moved across borders. It moved across seas. And in every place it went, it changed slightly. It adapted to the people who used it. It became something new, while still remaining something ancient. In the Middle Ages, drums became a part of daily life in many places. They were used in festivals, in celebrations, and in religious events. They were used to announce important news. The drum could be heard over a crowded town square. It could draw people together. It could make the ordinary feel extraordinary. In England, drums were used in the military. They were used to signal commands. They were used to keep soldiers moving in unison. The drum was not just a tool. It was a voice that could be heard even in the chaos of battle. The drum spoke in a language of rhythm. In America, drums also became a part of military life. During the Revolutionary War, drums were used to signal commands to soldiers. They were used to wake men in the early morning. They were used to guide marching. The drum was a steady presence in the lives of soldiers. It was a sound that kept them moving forward. As time passed, drums became part of the culture of many countries. They were used in music. They were used in dance. They were used in celebrations. In some cultures, the drum became a symbol of the community itself. A symbol of unity. A symbol of togetherness. The drum also became a tool for storytelling. The rhythm could tell a story. A rhythm could represent a heartbeat. A rhythm could represent a journey. The drum could create a sense of time. It could represent the passing of days. It could represent the changing of seasons. It could represent life itself. The drum traveled into new worlds as well. It became part of the music of the Americas. It became part of the music of the Caribbean. It became part of the music of the South. It was used in spiritual ceremonies. It was used in celebration. It was used in resistance. The drum became a voice for people who had been silenced. In the 1800s, drums continued to evolve. They became more refined. They became part of orchestras and military bands. They became part of the growing world of music. The drum became a tool for art as well as for function. People began to experiment with different shapes and materials. They began to explore different sounds. The drum became more than a tool. It became an instrument of expression. In the 1900s, the drum became a central part of modern music. The drum kit was created, combining multiple drums and cymbals into one instrument. It became the heartbeat of jazz, rock, blues, and pop. The drum became a symbol of energy. A symbol of movement. It became the pulse of a new world. The drum has traveled far. It has been used for war. It has been used for peace. It has been used for celebration. It has been used for mourning. It has been used for ritual. It has been used for rhythm. It has been used for communication. It has been used for the human need to connect. Dash dash dash. And even now, the drum remains. In music, in culture, in ceremonies, in celebrations, in gatherings, in moments of quiet. The drum is still a part of human life. Because the drum speaks in a language that does not require words. It speaks in the language of the body. It speaks in the language of the heart. Dash dash dash. The rhythm of the drum is simple. It is slow. It is steady. It is calm. The beat continues. The sound continues. The night continues. Dash dash dash. The drum's history is long, and it continues to grow. And now, in Africa, you can rest. Drums became a language. The story is finished. They were used to send messages across villages. The world is calm. They were used to tell stories. They were used in celebrations. The drum was more than music. It was communication. A person could play a drum and another person could understand. Even if they were far away. The drum could carry meaning. It could carry emotion. It could carry the sound of a village. Dash dash dash. In Asia, drums were used in temples and ceremonies. They were used to mark time in religious rituals. They were used to create a sense of order. The rhythm of the drum could calm the mind. It could guide the breath. It could create a sense of peace. In some cultures, the drum was believed to call the spirits. It was believed to bring the world closer. The drum was sacred. Dash dash dash. In Europe, the drum became a tool of war. It was used to coordinate armies. It was used to guide marching. The drum could be heard over the noise of battle. It could keep soldiers moving in rhythm. It could signal commands. The drum was a voice that could not be ignored. The drum was a leader. Dash dash dash. In the Middle Ages, drums were also used in festivals. They were used in dances. They were used in celebrations. The drum could make people feel alive. It could make people move. It could make people laugh. It could make people feel the joy of being together. Dash dash dash. The drum traveled across the world. It moved with people who moved across the land. It moved with traders. It moved with explorers. It moved with armies. It moved with settlers. And as it traveled, it changed. It adapted to the cultures it touched. It became new, while still remaining old. Dash dash dash. In the Americas, drums became part of the life of many peoples. They were used in spiritual ceremonies. They were used in storytelling. They were used in celebration. The drum became a way to connect to the earth. To connect to the ancestors. To connect to the spirit world. The drum became a sacred voice. Dash dash dash. When European settlers arrived, they brought their own drums. They brought military drums. They brought marching drums. And the drums of different cultures began to mix. The drum became part of a new world. It became part of a new culture. It became part of the future. Dash dash dash. In the 1800s, drums continued to evolve. New materials were used. New shapes were created. New sounds were explored. Drums became more precise. They became more refined. The drum became part of orchestras. It became part of music that was played in concert halls. The drum became part of art. Dash dash dash. The drum also became part of daily life. It was used in parades. It was used in celebrations. It was used in gatherings. The drum became a symbol of unity. A symbol of strength. A symbol of community. The drum continued to carry the sound of people. Dash dash dash. In the 1900s, the drum became central to modern music. Jazz used the drum to create new rhythms. Blues used the drum to create a steady beat. Rock music used the drum to create energy. The drum has always been close to the human body. It mimics the heartbeat. It mirrors the breath. It is an instrument that does not need words. It does not need language. It only needs rhythm. And rhythm is a part of all life. Dash dash dash. The drum has been used for celebration. It has been used for mourning. It has been used for war. It has been used for peace. It has been used for ritual. It has been used for dance. It has been used for healing. Dash dash dash. In many cultures, the drum is believed to heal. The steady beat can calm the mind. It can slow the breath. It can help the body return to a steady state. It can help the heart find its rhythm again. The drum can guide the mind into stillness. Dash dash dash. The drum has been used in healing ceremonies, in spiritual rituals, in meditation. The sound of the drum can be gentle. It can be soft. It can be loud. It can be powerful. But always, it is rhythmic. Always, it is steady. Always, it is calm. Dash dash dash. The drum is also a tool of storytelling. In many cultures, stories are passed down through rhythm, through beats, through patterns. A drum can represent the journey of life, the rise and fall of seasons, the cycle of the moon. A drum can represent a heartbeat. A drum can represent the passage of time. Dash dash dash. The drum is also a tool of memory. When people hear a certain rhythm, they remember. They remember a place. They remember a person. They remember a moment. The drum can carry memory across time. It can carry memory across generations. It can carry memory across continents. Dash dash dash. The drum is also a symbol of identity. A certain rhythm can belong to a specific culture. A certain beat can belong to a specific community. The drum can be a sign of belonging. It can be a sign of home. It can be a sign of heritage. It can be a sign of history. Dash dash dash. The drum has traveled through time. It has survived wars. It has survived changes. It has survived time itself. It has been passed down. It has been reinvented. It has been remade. It has been reborn. Dash dash dash. And the drum continues to be made today. In studios. In homes. In streets. It is played by professionals. It is played by amateurs. It is played by children. The drum is still a part of life. It is still a part of culture. It is still a part of the human experience. Dash dash dash. The drum continues to echo through time. The beat continues. The rhythm continues. The world continues. And the night continues. Dash dash dash. Now, the story becomes slower. The pace becomes calmer. The narration becomes quieter. The goal is not to tell more history, but to guide the listener into rest. Dash dash dash. The rhythm of the drum is steady. Steady as a heartbeat. Steady as the breath. Steady as the night. Dash dash dash. Imagine the sound of a drum in the distance. A soft beat. A slow beat. A calm beat. The sound travels through the air. It travels through the trees. It travels through the night. The sound reaches you. It becomes part of your breathing. It becomes part of your body. It becomes part of your calm. Dash dash dash. The beat continues. Slow, steady, calm. Dash dash dash. The night becomes quieter. The mind becomes quieter. The body becomes heavier. The thoughts begin to fade. The breath becomes slow. The heartbeat becomes slow. The rhythm continues. Dash dash dash. The drum beat continues. It is soft. It is calm. It is steady. It is soothing. Dash dash dash. The world continues. The night continues. The rhythm continues. Dash dash dash. The drum's history is long, and it is still being written. But for now, the story is ending. For now, the night is ending. For now, the mind is resting. Dash dash dash. The drum beat continues. Slow, steady, calm. The drum's story is a long one. It stretches across centuries, across oceans, across cultures. It has traveled with people. It has traveled with history. It has traveled with time. And it still travels today. Dash dash dash. The drum remains a symbol of life. It is the sound of the heartbeat. The sound of breath. The sound of being alive. The drum is a reminder that we are all connected. Connected through rhythm. Connected through sound. Connected through time. Dash dash dash. The drum has always been a companion. It has been there in moments of joy. It has been there in moments of sorrow. It has been there in moments of battle. It has been there in moments of peace. It has been there in moments of stillness. Dash dash dash. The drum continues to beat. Even when no one is listening. Even when the world is quiet. Even when the night is deep. The rhythm continues. The heartbeat continues. The story continues. Dash dash dash. Now, the sound of the drum becomes softer. It becomes distant. It becomes a whisper. The beat fades. The night becomes calm. The mind becomes calm. The body becomes calm. Dash dash dash. The rhythm becomes slower. The breath becomes slower. The thoughts become slower. The world becomes slower. Everything becomes quiet. Dash dash dash. The drum is now a memory. A soft memory. A warm memory. A peaceful memory. Dash dash dash. The night is still. The world is still. The mind is still. Dash dash dash. The drum's story has ended for now. But the rhythm remains. The heartbeat remains. The calm remains. Dash dash dash. The narration becomes softer. The words become fewer. The silence becomes more. The sleep becomes deeper. Dash dash dash. You are safe. You are calm. You are resting. Dash dash dash. The rhythm continues. Slowly. Gently. Quietly. Dash dash dash. Good night.